This is Eric with Better Every Shave, where I try to improve my wet shaving skills with each and every shave. Today I have a razor report and a shave with the new Yaqi Final Cut Double Edge Adjustable Safety Razor. And before I get started, because these videos can be a little long, I wanted to let you know that I do include timestamps in the description below so that you're able to skip to the part that interests you the most. If you do have the time, I'd appreciate you watching the whole video, but if not, I understand. So Yaqi is a Chinese manufacturer of shaving supplies. They may make other things, but I know them as a shaving supplier. They're primarily known for their brushes, but they also make razors and other equipment as well. I have one of their brushes, which is the Timberwolf 26 millimeter synthetic knot. It's a very nice brush, great handle. I also have a couple of their razors in addition to this one, and everything that I've tried of theirs so far has been pretty good quality and has worked very well. I've enjoyed using their products. So when I saw that they had this adjustable razor coming out, I was very interested, and so I went ahead and purchased it. You can buy their products either from wetshavingco.com, which is an Australian company, or you can buy it from AliExpress. There may be other places as well, but those are the two that I'm aware of. I ordered this from AliExpress. It's just under $30, free shipping, but it takes usually about a month to get the product from China. So you do have to wait for a little while. So this razor is an homage, or I hate to say clone because it's not an exact copy, but it's very similar to the Gibbs safety razor that was manufactured in France, I'd say almost 100 years ago, I believe at this point. Same basic design in the sense that the top cap has a longer screw that came out. One of the major differences is that the knob on this one, rather than the entire post coming out, on a Gibbs that would come out all the way. On here, it's held captive, so I think that makes it a little bit easier to load, probably. Apparently, this is the third version of this design. The first design had issues, I believe, with the handle being too smooth or something, and then with the blade alignment. And then the second one, I'm not entirely versed on all of the issues. Suffice to say, there were some problems, and I think people were unhappy with the quality of the razor and the performance. From what I can tell, both from my copy here as well as other videos and reviews I've seen, it appears that they got it right on this one. It is very solid and sturdy, and the alignment is good, and everything about it is a quality product. Particularly considering the price, that it's only $30, and for that price for this razor, I think that's a fantastic deal. So a couple things about this. Like I said, it's a two-piece razor because this is held captive, and the Gibbs is technically a three-piece. So you would release this, and then the top cap comes off with this longer spindle. It has a interesting little knurling pattern, and I'm going to take some nicer pictures, some better pictures. I think you can just barely see that, but I'm going to put some better high-quality photos in here as I go along so that you can see different aspects of this in much higher resolution. I'm actually going to cut to a top-down view as well and go through some more of aspects of the razor, as well as like loading in a blade and some things like that, just to kind of give you a sense of the way it works. All right, so let's take a little bit more of an in-depth look here. Before I get too far into that, I just wanted to show you the packaging. So nothing fancy. Yaqi packs their stuff efficiently. This is certainly enough to, once it's wrapped in this box, it's certainly sturdy enough to get the razor to you in one piece. There's nothing fancy at all about this. It's just, it's brown cardboard and some bubble wrap. So you won't be displaying this, but it gets to you in one piece. And I think that's really the important part. And also the budget-minded pricing of this. You're not going to pay a few extra dollars on top of the cost of the manufacturer of the razor to get a fancy box that comes with it. So I'm fine with that. It really doesn't bother me. I know some people really would like a better presentation, but I think this is, you know, again, this is what you get for your money. It's well worth not not worrying about the box. So, all right. As I mentioned, this is a 2-piece razor. So, and I kind of showed the intros a little bit pulling this apart, but here we go. You know, this comes apart as 2 pieces, and I will show loading a blade in here just so you can see. I have a Patra Platinum. I've been having really great luck with these blades lately, and been enjoying using them. So, as you'd expect, blade over the spindle. And what's nice is there are these 2 little nubs that come through and sit inside of the base plate. So it's pretty much impossible to get wrong. And, you know, I just go ahead and set it over the top, and you could just as easily do that in your hand as well. There's no blade overhang on the edges here. So that's nice. You can grab it and really crank it down without holding a towel or something. I don't feel like I need to really crank this down too hard. It has a nice positive feel whenever you tighten it down. And honestly, I just don't see the need to crank too hard. So, but it is nice to not have to have a towel to do that with. And once it's tightened up, you can see here the adjustment wheel. And again, I will put in close-up photos so that you'll be able to see this a little better. I think this is coming through okay, though. One of the things that's a little weird about this, and honestly, I'm not sure why they let this be the way it is. I don't know if it doesn't seem like it would be a design choice, but you know, the dial itself goes from 1 to 6, so you would expect that, you know, using the red dot here, that we would go, you know, up and around to 6, and then it would stop. But that's not the case, because it just keeps going 1, 2, 3. So basically, and a little past 3. So essentially, it's 9 if you're going just by the number value. And it seems a little, I don't know. I wish they would have made it so it just stopped at 6, and then that would have made it feel more like an intentional choice, right? They said, okay, the adjustment value is 1 to 6, not there's just some numbers on there and the dot will turn, you know, from one side to the other. Maybe people will appreciate that it goes higher than 6. That whole volume going to 11 thing. I don't know. Maybe that will be something people appreciate. I wish it did just stop at 6, because I think it would make it feel more intentional and I don't know, just more thought out, I guess. Minor criticism. It detracts nothing from the shave. It's just something that I noticed and seems a little odd. All right, so I'm going to take the blade out just so I can handle this without thinking about whether or not there's a blade there. The nice thing, I went through that a little too quickly, but if you notice, I unscrewed the bottom. Even though there's no overhang, whenever I pull up and out, it still captures the blade. So it's not like the blade goes flying around. So that's actually pretty nice. And then you can just let it drop that way. Okay. All right, so let's get my scale here, and we will weigh this. 79.7 grams. Good Lord. 2.81 ounces. All right, and we will measure the length. We'll do that in inches as well as centimeters. So in inches, we are just around very close to 3.5, just a touch under 3.5 inches. And then centimeters, oops, I'm going to call that just a touch over 8. Oh, wait, no, let me back that up. Yeah, more like a little over 8.5 centimeters. So let's say like 86 millimeters. So it's fairly small, which for me, I don't tend to love smaller razors because they just don't fit in my hand as well, because I have large hands. But what I found is the center of balance on this one is right around that midpoint. And so if you're gripping just below there, it makes it slightly head heavy, which is kind of what I want when I'm shaving anyway. And then I can control it with, you know, my pinky and my ends of my fingers here. So it is very comfortable to hold in the hand. I had no issues with that whatsoever. And again, this knurling is very, very grippy without being harsh or sharp. It's just nice and grippy. One of the things that I wish they would have done, it's a little bit of a shame, is that they didn't paint in the numbers. And you can see that here where the numbers are either stamped or etched or molded, however they made this metal collar. So you can see them. It's not that they aren't there, but they're not painted in. And, you know, normally on a razor like this, you would see those painted in black or just something to add some contrast. And I actually made mention of this to Mark from Friendship Shaving, and he ended up making a how-to video on how to paint these numbers in. And he does it with model paint and newspaper and some different things, a toothpick. So I'll link to that in the description so that you can find that if you buy this razor and want to fill in those numbers. I'm going to do it as well. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I have to get the enamel paint and everything. So you can see that the knurling pattern on the adjustment knob or adjustment dial is slightly different than the handle. It's a little bit smaller. But that's actually kind of a nice touch that it's a little bit different. You can feel the difference with your fingers. I mean, you can also feel that it's just a collar, you know, it's just a thinner sort of dial there, but it's a nice touch to have it be a slightly different knurling, and it has enough grip to it that you can easily turn it even with wet hands. So that's a nice touch. And I believe this is everything I had to go over on the construction and the general usage of the razor. So if you have any questions or anything, just please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And with that, I'm going to cut over to the shave. All right, so cutting over to the shave. Hey, here I am. So my pre-shave is going to be the Vanderhagen shave butter. I don't use this as shaving cream as it is intended. It's just not something I prefer. It's a brushless cream. So I've been using it as a pre-shave, and it works pretty well for that. So just, you know how pre-shave works. Just sort of smear that on. So today I'm using House of Mammoth, their tobacconist scent, and it is just, I'll just preface this by saying it's phenomenal. Very, very happy with it. I ordered some samples from Maggard's, and they've all been very good for the most part, but this House of Mammoth Tobacconist has been a knockout. I mean, it's just truly one of the best tobacco fragrances I've smelled. And there's a lot of wood in it. I think cedar wood. But it has all of the floral qualities of tobacco without any of that harsh like smoke or burn or anything like that. And I know some people like that part of it, but I prefer like a sweet, clean tobacco. And this is just a phenomenal smell. I really, really enjoy it. The performance of the lather itself as well is also very, very good. I whipped it up with the PAA Atomic Rocket, as you see there. And all right, got it just about where I want it there. And yes, we're using the Yaqi razor. I'm going to go ahead and load the blade here, which I haven't done yet, I don't think. And in case you haven't seen it enough, there's the captive thumb screw and the top cap. And I showed you loading it on my tabletop here, but this is how you would do it in your hand. It's still very easy to load. Some razors can be difficult. You feel like you're struggling with the blade a little bit, and you're sort of on the verge of cutting yourself. And this one I just feel has been very easy to deal with. Like I said, it's my first two-piece razor, and I really get the appeal now I have a Marcor 33C instead of the 34, and it's a 3-piece. So I didn't get that. I guess a lot of people, as their first experience, have a 2-piece razor, and this, I've now got over 60 razors, and this is my first 2-piece. So if you noticed a second ago, what I was doing was signaling 3, meaning that the setting for the shave is going to be on 3. I figured since 6, 1 to 6, technically, I know it's 1 to 9, but I figured I would check it out, about halfway up. I should say I had about 2 days of growth here, I believe. And you can see I'm pinching it just below the adjustment dial and then holding it with my 2 of my fingers. And it's fitting. It fits very nicely even in my larger hand. And I was nodding in approval there because I could already tell it was doing a good job. It has blade feel, but it's comfortable blade feel. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not, but you can feel the edge of the blade, and you can feel it cutting, and feel it on your skin. But at no point did I feel like there was enough of a gap, or that the angle of the blade was such that it was going to cut into my skin. So it felt safe while at the same time still having a nice amount of blade feel. And I'm finding that that's really what I like in a razor, is I want to feel the blade. When I'm using razors that try to hide the blade from me, I feel like I start putting too much pressure on, or I don't know. There's something honest about feeling the blade. We're running a blade over our face to remove hair. Not feeling the blade seems a little, I don't know, odd. So yeah, for my across the grain pass, I thought, well, normally with an adjustable razor, I would choose to, maybe drop down a number or so. But it's funny. I think a lot of people do this too. An adjustable razor. Yeah, I'm happy with this shave. An adjustable razor doesn't necessarily mean you have to adjust it during the shave, right? The value of an adjustable razor can be such that maybe it's just you've got extra hair growth. You haven't shaved in 4 days instead of 2. And so that 4-day growth might need a more efficient razor to knock it down. So you turn up the dial a little bit. Or if you shaved yesterday and you're just doing a touch up today, then you can lower it down and have less blade. So adjustables don't necessarily mean that you have to use it each pass by switching it up. So anyway, yeah, I'm I'm very happy with how this shave's going. As you can see, I could already tell it was going to be a really great shave. I was removing a lot of hair without any irritation, and it just felt great. So, all right. So on this third pass, I'm going to drop it down to 2, just to see how that feels. And the third pass is against the green, of course. So I'm just being a little quiet so that we can hear the hear the noise of the blade. Oh my God. So I'm being quiet so that I'm being quiet so that we can hear the blade. Well, that, and I've been babbling the whole time. This area of my neck, both sides underneath of my jawline in particular, are difficult. to get a very smooth, close shave, I have to go sideways. And unfortunately, that's skating right on the edge. And so if I put just the slightest bit too much pressure, and you can see there I drew blood just a tiny, tiny bit there. And I think it's just I got a little too carried away. And then on this side, it's a little different because it's grows both ways. So half of it is growing one way and half the other way. And I thought I would just go ahead and just do quick pickups. I don't normally do pickups, but for some reason, I don't know, I was feeling it today. Or I shouldn't say I do pickups, but I don't lather for them because usually the soap has enough residual slickness that I just sort of smear whatever is left either in my goatee or on my cheek around. And here I'm marveling at how well this is going. The way I finish all my shaves is normally I will go ahead and wash my face with the remainder of the lather. Then I get my Omega Alum stick. And really a couple different reasons for this. One is I like the way it feels on my skin, the way it makes my skin feel when I'm done. And two, it's going to heal up or close up any, little nicks and cuts and things. And also then I'm going to feel any feedback in terms of rough areas, irritation. Did I push too hard? Did I go too far? So this helps me gauge how I did. There are times where I can have a really great shave and still have, like even here, this is one of the best shaves I feel like I've ever had. And I still had just a touch of irritation on those spots I was talking about earlier underneath the jawline on my neck. But I don't use aftershave, almost never. Sometimes I do, but almost never. So the alum for me helps sort of point out, those areas of irritation, whereas some other people might use an aftershave product to do the same thing. And then I finish up, as I do with pretty much every shave, with some Nivea Sensitive Balm. I have balm on order from Hendrix Classics and Company, so I'm going to try their balm and see how that is. But I think the balm helps me more than an aftershave would, but I guess that's up to whoever's doing the shaving. So, all right, we have arrived at the end. If you hung in there for the whole thing, I appreciate it. I know that was not a short video, but hopefully you found it interesting. And I certainly appreciate if you did watch the whole thing. If not, it's okay. I won't hold it against you. So my verdict on it is that it's an excellent razor. I am very happy that I got it for under $30 with free shipping. I mean, yes, it's going to take a while to get to you, but it is, for what you get, considering the cost, it's an amazing razor. And again, this is all my opinion, of course, but it's really the best adjustable I've used yet. And I have a Rockwell Model T, I have a Slim, I have a super adjustable Black Beauty. I've got, I've tried I think 4 or 5 different adjustables. So it's not like I've tried them all, but the ones that I have tried, this is by far the most efficient, the most comfortable, and just the easiest, most accessible to use. The shave angle, like everything just fit perfectly for me. And then couple that with the House of Mammoth soap that was so good. This was just a great shave. And so my opinion is, if you want an inexpensive adjustable razor, I think you could do a lot worse than getting one of these. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on what you saw today. If you'd like to, please feel free to leave comments below or get in touch with me on social media. I would really genuinely like to hear your feedback on what I'm doing. And I really thank you for your time sitting and watching a long video like this. I appreciate it. And I will see you soon in another video. Until then, happy shaves. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.